May I now request our chief guest, Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai, to deliver his convocation address.
I must thank and congratulate Dr. Preeti Adani and the entire team for this marvelous achievement. Being the first convocation, it's indeed a milestone. And for many years to come, we'll remember this day as something which is such a landmark. In this case, it is a day of immense pride and significance, not just for you, the graduating class, but also for the entire institution. It's an historic moment celebrating the hard work and dedication, and I've been associated with the university and know what has gone into it, how much discussions, how much dreams, how much planning which went into trying to ensure that each one of you who graduates has a place in the world, a place which can take your own energies and your own convictions to the heights which I think the founders of this institution have really wished. The institute was established with a mission to cultivate leaders equipped to tackle the challenges of our time. And I quote from something which our president, Dr. Preeti Adani, had said, that the most important task of nation building is the development of human capital. It's a very significant thing because for a company which is really invested in infrastructure and things which you can see, here what we can't see so obviously, which is in your minds and what's gone in, it's an infrastructure which is not visible in the same way. But it's the most important one, and I think that's the message which she has given. India is at a certain stage. We've just become the most populous country in the planet. About 16% of the world. They were saying that if you line up everyone on the planet, every sixth person or seventh person will be an Indian. And it's a time of the planet when there are a number of crises. We are glad today that it's been such a wonderful day and nature has been kind to us, but all you know, it could have been pouring today. And it's all completely unpredictable what the weather is. We have dual challenges. We have on the one hand, the responsibility of being the largest democracy. We have the challenge of somehow leading the world. We have to establish what development means. The development model which you see today, the infrastructure model abroad, is simply not possible. If you were to just take multiplication and try and see what would it mean. I was once speaking in Australia, and that morning their census had come out. And Australia, the entire population of Australia is added by India in a year and 3 months or something. So I was telling them that to think of the challenge that if we want to live your lifestyles, we would have to add that much infrastructure every year only for the new people who are joining, not even talking about the people who are already there. And his number of hospitals, schools, roads, bridges, it's not possible. It's not even desirable, let alone possible. It's not desirable. And so one is looking at a path which is very different. We are rapidly developing. We are the fastest among all large nations at keeping a growth rate in a situation where there's literally depression in many parts of the world of what happens in the future. But India, when its leadership is growing at that rate. And yet we are responsible. We want to progress, but we want to save and be responsible citizens of this planet. And as all of you would know, there's a triple planetary crisis. There is the climate change crisis, which was not realized so long ago, and it's very closely connected with the things you will be doing. The type of energy you will be producing, the type of cities you will be planning, how we use and how we consume is critical, but as also is the loss of biodiversity and pollution. You are seeing now plastic, for instance, which is such a wonder product. but it is choking. It's choking our systems. It's choking the ocean. It is something which, at the same time, what is good is also has a negative side. And that ability to differentiate is critical. And what the Adani Group has really shown is that it is possible to have rapid growth. It is possible to reach these heights and yet not lose your consciousness, not lose your empathy, and not lose the responsibility. And so there are many paths here which Shri Gautam Adani and through his leadership have taken. It is a time also of complete technological disruptions. What we know of and taken for granted just a few years ago is completely changing. Some of our children and grandchildren don't even know when we talk about an age when we didn't have the sort of facilities we have. I remember, Madam, at Harvard Square, they had put the first 4-function calculator with a single memory. And it was in the main show window. It was $180. Today, what people are giving away is free. It was $180, and I remember just watching there and saying, marvelous, look at this thing. And finally, the next year, my mother bought me one. And whether I needed it or not in the plane, I would take out this calculator and do something on it. But I'm just saying how those ages pass. Today, a calculator or even a way in which you pay, for instance, even the Lahari person today might not be very literate. Will have a QR code in front of her. That is the change which has happened in India. I was talking to my wife about some recipes, and this lady who is again not literate was listening from the back, and she comes and says, "Can I make it for you, sir?" Some Mexican thing. I said, "What?" So she said, "No, I'll get my daughter-in-law to look it up in YouTube, and I will do it. Give me that challenge." Now that is the spirit which India is building. The leadership today is a leadership which asks you to dream. And where better can you learn how to dream and achieve than in this campus and with the leadership of Mr. Adani. That ability is critical. But what are the skills? What will you require to do it? You've learned something, but so much of the knowledge you've learned, in a few years, you will find that knowledge, you can no longer hold on to that knowledge because the knowledge has changed. And so we talk about critical thinking and problem solving. How do we solve a problem? It's not remembering what the solution is, but solving it. And I think it's a very different approach. You need to collaborate and communicate with a number of sectors. I was talking to Prithiben about the fact that yesterday we were discussing about GM foods. And the amount of disciplines which are required to consider a problem. It's not just engineers who can solve it, not just social scientists, not just agriculturists or people. People have to come together to solve it. So that ability to collaborate with others, adaptability and resilience, do we have it or not? Things will change technological proficiency, I'm sure all of you have, but all the skills we have to completely activate. I think what was stressed today was very important, and you took that pledge, that we are talking about ethical leadership. And ethical leadership is a value which comes in, which is different from my technical knowledge alone. I have to think that the action I do. Gandhiji had a very nice statement. He said, every action you take, just think of the face of the poorest person you've seen, and what does it do to that person? Or what does it do to our country? What does it do to the environment? And I think that ability to have the ethical compass, and I think that's what Adani University is talking as much about the ethics as it is talking about this. And finally, visionary thinking, again, something which you are coming out of a heritage here, which is incredible, a vision which you would think is almost unimaginable. How does a young boy from Ahmedabad think of something like this in a matter of not even a single lifetime, part of a lifetime, to be able to achieve that, to be able to do it, to be able to be hardworking, to believe in yourself, to believe in others, to build partnerships, and to be able to take it forward. And then finding that when we have achieved so much as Adani, let us put back, what do we sow? We, of course, sow trees here. And this is a lovely campus. But more importantly, what has been sown today in each one of your hearts and minds and abilities, I think that is the critical investment, if you like, for the future of this country. We have talked about net zero, and we are going towards that. The Prime Minister has put a target of 2070. But you go down the Adani University, Adani companies, they've all got, some have got 2040, some have got 2050. They've all got their own targets. We are moving towards the Sustainable Development Goals come to an end in 5 years. And that last sprint to achieve them. At the climate change COP, India was one of the only countries out of the large countries who have met their targets. Every other country is not, in spite of the fact that we are developing fast in others. But this is a time of that energy. Your energy needs to go into nation building, into your own building, into your families. I'm so glad so many of you brought your families. And I think right at the beginning, the reference to what the family goes through when your child goes to school, or in my case, when the grandchild goes to school, what is that wonderful? So let us all be in this path together. You are today alumni, and alumni means, I think the university has been very clear that you remain in that family. You keep on contributing in your own way and stay in touch. So wish you all the best, and it's been wonderful to be here to share this moment with you. Thank you.